You are 13, fired without warning, rent due tonight, and the pawnshop already has your only spare dress. A man at the pub offers a meal and a shilling. Congratulations! You just became part of the most profitable and least acknowledged industry in Victorian London. Born into Victorian city poverty, you arrive in the world in a room that barely counts as a home. One tiny fireplace, one small window, and 3 families squeezed into a single damp floor in an industrial town. In some London districts in the 1840s, 1 in 4 children dies before age 5. Your parents know those odds. They still name you with hope. Your father is an unskilled laborer when he can find work. Maybe he unloads cargo at the docks or breaks stones by the road. On a good week, he brings home 20 shillings. On a bad week, he brings home nothing, and the landlord still wants rent. Your mother takes in laundry, men's clothes, and tries to stretch thin soup into dinner for 5 or 6 mouths. You get school for a short time, if at all. Fees, books, and lost work hours cost money your family does not have. By age 8 or 9, you already run errands, mind younger siblings, queue for water, and dodge carts in the street. Childhood is not a phase. It is something rich people talk about while your hands crack in the cold. The neighborhood smells of coal smoke, rotting waste, and cheap gin. Cholera has already torn through your street once. It will be back. When someone coughs too long, you learn to look away and keep moving. There is no savings account. There is the pawn shop. Each winter, your family walks there with one more blanket or pot. Religion hangs over everything, too. Sunday sermons warn girls about sin, shame, and fallen women. The preacher does not mention that many of those women started as hungry girls who ran out of choices. Respectable work is the dream. Factory, shop, or domestic service. Anything that lets you pay rent and stay off the parish charity list. You hear adults repeat the same rule. Good girls keep their place. Good girls, stay pure. Then you watch a landlord corner, a maid on the stairs, and you notice that the rule seems to run only one way. By your early teens, the lesson is clear. The city does not care if you live, as long as you do not make trouble. Food, shelter, safety. Every day is a new math problem. Your body is part of that equation, even if no one says that part out loud yet. Sent into service or factory. You do not pick a career. The street and your parents pick it for you. At 12 or 13, you are no longer a child. You are cheap labor. If your family is lucky, a neighbor knows a lady who needs a maid of all work. That title sounds grand. It means you rise before the household, clean every surface, scrub every pot, carry coal, empty chamber pots, and sleep near the kitchen with the mice. Domestic servants can work 16 hours a day for about 6 to 10 pounds a year in wages. Most of that never touches your hand. It goes straight back to your parents or into clothing that makes you look respectable. Your body becomes part of the job description. The master's eyes stay on you too long. The older son likes to block doorways. The visiting friend walks in without knocking. If something happens, everyone knows who will get blamed, and it is not the man with the money. If you do not enter service, you may land in a factory. Textile mills, match factories, or workshops packed with girls your age and younger. Air full of dust. Machines loud enough to rattle your skull. Fingers and hair catch in spinning parts. Foremen shout if you slow. Pay is by the piece, so you push your body to keep up. In 1840s, Britain, many factory workers are under 20. Children and teens run whole rows of machines for a few shillings a week. There is one rule in every setting. You are replaceable. A cough that will not stop, a back that seizes, one sharp word to the wrong person, and you are out. No notice, no payout. Just a bundle of clothes and a walk back to the same cramped street you tried to leave. At this stage, sex work is not your plan. Your plan is survival. You repeat the same line adults tell you. Work hard, stay decent, keep your head down. Then you hear whispers about girls who go with men from the factory or the pub and come back with more coins than a week at the loom. First, survival sex encounter. You do not wake up one day and decide, I will be a prostitute. Life shoves you there, inch by inch. The first shove is usually money. Your father dies, or drinks his wages. Your mother gets sick. The family you serve fires you because the mistress is jealous, or the master is guilty and wants you gone. You walk out with one box, one dress, and no reference. In Victorian Britain, a bad reference is social death. No one will hire a girl with a questionable past. Rent is due. Bread is not free. Tailors will not wait. The pawn shop already has your extra dress. The landlady wants cash, not excuses. A woman in your rooming house leans on the doorframe and asks how far behind you are. She is not shocked. She has seen this before. She hints that a man at the corner pub likes company. He buys supper and pays in coins. She does not use the word prostitute. She says, he is generous, and you only have to be kind. You tell yourself it will be one time. You meet him. He is not a monster. He is boring, smells of beer, and talks too much about himself. You feel your stomach twist when he touches you. You stare at the cracks in the ceiling. You count the seconds. Then it ends. He leaves money on the table. More than a week's factory wages. In 1 hour. You hate the number and need it at the same time? That money means rent, food, maybe medicine for your mother? A whole crisis, solved by one secret you can never admit in church. You do not call it work. You call it helping a friend, or a bit of fun for pay, because the real word burns. You tell yourself you still are not like those women in the police reports and sermons. Then another man asks, and another. Word moves faster than you do. You learn very quickly that your body is now part of the local economy. Respectability is slipping out of reach, and you can feel it go, coin by coin. Grinding streets as night worker. You move to the street because it is the only place that still pays. No madam, no contract, just boots on cobblestones and hope that the next man has coins and not a knife. London, Liverpool, Manchester, Glasgow. Every big city has its walks. Near the docks, outside music halls, around railway stations. Police reports in the 1860s put the number of known prostitutes in London under 10,000. Social reformers say the real figure is many times that. You know which side feels closer to the truth. Your workday starts when decent people bolt their doors. You pick a spot with a bit of gaslight so men can see your face, but not so bright that the police follow every step. You learn quick. Sailors pay fast and drink hard. Clerks act shy until they think no one is looking. Soldiers swagger, then haggle over price like you are a sack of potatoes. Every night is the same short list of questions. How much? Where? How long? You quote a price in shillings. If he tries to pay half, you walk. Or you say yes because your stomach growls and your rent is late. Rooms are a problem. If you can afford a lodging house, you drag the man there and pay the keeper a cut. If not, you use alleys, stairwells, dark corners of public gardens. Police call that public indecency. You call it staying out of the rain. One eye is always on danger. Men who grip too tight. Men who follow after you say no. Men who brag about what they did to a girl last week. You swap names and descriptions with other women. A bad client gets a nickname and a warning that spreads down the street. It is your own rough version of a safety database. The law is not your friend. Constables move you along, fine you for soliciting, or demand favors to look the other way. Respectable men visit you at night, then sign petitions against vice by day. Still, the street keeps you alive. Barely. Food on the table, roof over your head. No margin for anything else. You are no longer falling. You have hit the ground and started to dig. Brothel bed, house rules. Street work keeps you alive, but it also wears you down. Wet nights, drunk men, police boots. So when a woman in better clothes says her house has space, you listen. She is the madam. She smells profit. You smell food in a bed. A brothel looks almost respectable from the outside. Curtains, plants, maybe a clean brass knocker. Inside it is pure business. The madam fronts, the rent, and the furniture. You pay her back with your body. She takes a share of every visit, often half, sometimes more. If you drink, borrow for clothes, or break something, it goes on your tab. There is a clear ladder, street girls at the bottom, brothel girls above that, high-class courtesans and kept women at the top in their own world of carriages and opera boxes. You are in the middle rank, not starving, not safe. Your day has a schedule now. You wake in a small shared room. You wash if there is hot water. You sweep, change sheets, hide bottles before the doctor's weekly visit. Then you dress. The madam watches what you wear. Too plain, you cannot compete. Too flashy, you scare off shy men. Evening brings the parade. You sit in the front room with the other girls. The gaslights stay low. Clients knock, hang hats, and pretend they just wandered in by chance. They talk with the madam first. She names a price. He glances around the room like he is choosing a cut of meat. When he points at you, you smile as if this is a lucky treat and not your 15th customer this week. Some things are better here. Fewer alleyways. Fewer sudden punches. Other things are worse. There is no choice about who you take. If you say no too often, the madam reminds you of your debts and the line of girls waiting for your spot. You start to drink more. Gin in teacups. Laudanum in little drops. Just enough to dull nerves and joints. Not enough to stop you working, at least for now. You tell yourself this is temporary. A season, a few years, until you save enough to open a shop or marry out. Somewhere in the back of your mind, though, You know the real rule of the house. People come in. Money goes out. Very few women truly leave. Clients, prices, class lines. You learn fast that not all men are equal, at least not in your ledger. Dock workers come first. Cash in hand, rough hands, dirty boots. They want speed and do not pay much. You take them because coins are coins. Then there are soldiers on leave. They swagger, boast about battles, and try to pay in promises and stories. You insist on money before anything else. You are not here for patriotism. Clerks and shopmen are different. Cheap suits. Ink on their cuffs. They come shaking with nerves. Sure, everyone can see the guilt on their faces. They still pay. Respectable wages buy secret visits. Married men talk about their wives, then ask for things they would never say at home. You nod, count to yourself, and raise the price for extra trouble. Sometimes a true gentleman walks in. Clean gloves, cane, good coat. That man pays several times the street rate. He expects better wine, better sheets, and better conversation. If you can quote a poem or a bit of French, you earn more in one night than a servant earns in months. Those men often pretend you are something else. A plaything, a mistress, never a worker. You start to see the pattern. The poorer the man, the more open the transaction. The richer the man, the thicker the layer of lies. Reformers write books about fallen women and female vice. Newspapers print long pieces on the moral collapse of the working class. The names of your clients never appear in those pages. Prices are their own trap. On the street, you might charge $1 for a short visit. In a brothel, the madam can charge several, then keep half. Better clothes mean you can ask for more, yet those clothes usually belong to the house. You are renting your own appearance. If you fall ill and cannot work, the debt does not pause. It grows. You learn to keep a mental account. How many men you need each night? How much for rent? How much for food? How much to send home if anyone still speaks to you? Every choice runs through the same quiet question. Is this visit worth the risk to your body, your freedom, and what is left of your name? Laws control your body. The Contagious Diseases Acts hit you like a boot to the ribs. Parliament passes the first one in 1864, then 1866, then 1869, all aimed at port towns and garrison towns. The government claims it wants to stop venereal disease in the Army and Navy. The logic is simple and cruel. Soldiers must stay healthy. Women like you are blamed for every infection. Men are not. Under these laws, a police officer can stop you on suspicion alone. No proof, no warrant. If he thinks you behave like a prostitute, you get dragged to a surgeon for a forced internal exam. Some women call it instrument rape. You lie on a table, held down, while a doctor checks you with metal tools. No consent, no dignity. If the doctor says you are infected, you are locked in a hospital for up to 3 months, sometimes longer. You lose all income the moment that door shuts. The men who gave you the disease walk free. They go back to barracks, ships, offices, and dinner tables. No tests for them. Not one law demands it. Reformers call this medical slavery. You call it Tuesday. The lock hospitals are harsh. Cold wards, cheap food, rules about speech, movement, clothing. Nurses watch you like guards. If you complain, staff write that you are rebellious. That label follows you forever. Leaving sick is bad. Leaving with a record is worse. Landladies refuse rooms. Employers refuse work. Police remember your name. Even respectable women get caught in the net. A widow walking alone at night can be stopped. A servant returning late from errands can be detained. Respectability does not protect you when a man with a badge decides you look suspicious. By the late 1860s, anger builds. Pamphlets circulate. Meetings fill halls. Women speak out in public for the first time on this issue. You hear a new name whispered with hope and disbelief. Josephine Butler. She calls the laws tyrannical. She calls the exams torture. For once, someone with status says what you already know. Your body is treated like state property. Raids, courts, reform pressure. Police raids feel like weather. They show up without warning, ruin your night, and leave you cold and broke. One moment you sit in the parlor, gaslight low, pretending the wallpaper is classy. The next, boots crash through the door, shouts, hats flying, clients diving behind furniture like they trained for it, men bolt out the back. You and the other women are the ones dragged out the front. Your charge depends on the mood of the officer. Disorderly house, soliciting, public nuisance. They all mean the same thing. Pay money you do not have, or spend a few nights in a cell that smells worse than any alley. Meanwhile, the respectable men who just ran half naked into the street get a chance to button up, smooth their hair, and walk home to warm beds. Their names never reach the newspapers. Yours always do. Court days are their own show. You stand before a magistrate who scolds you about moral decay while winking at the clerk. He knows nothing about your rent or your debts. He knows everything about his own reputation. Fines stack up. If you cannot pay, you scrub prison floors. You count the hours until release, knowing the police will watch you even harder afterward. Reformers enter the scene like a new theater troupe. Middle-class ladies in bonnets hand out pamphlets titled "Rescue the Fallen." They offer homes for repentance. These places have strict rules, cold rooms, and long prayers. You must swear off men, money, and any form of fun. Some women stay. Many slip out the window after a week and head straight back to work. Hunger beats sermons every time. Then you hear more about Josephine Butler. She storms across Britain with speeches that make bishops sweat. She calls the exams state violence. She tells Parliament that men spread disease too. She says women like you deserve rights. You are stunned. No one respectable has ever said that out loud. Police hate her. Doctors mock her. Soldiers threaten her. She keeps going. Aging, debt, health collapse. Time does not care that you still need rent. By your late 30s, the trade has already moved on. New faces arrive from the countryside every week. Fresh, desperate, younger, clients notice. So does the madam. Your earnings slide first. Men who once waited for you now point at newer girls. You cut prices to keep work. Cheap dregs of gin turn into daily fuel. Joints ache. Back screams. Teeth rot. You still have to smile on cue. Your body carries every year of this job. Venereal disease does not disappear because a doctor muttered a few words and handed out ointment. Many infections never heal fully. Pelvic pain, fevers, open sores. Some women lose their eyesight. Others lose their minds. The term syphilitic turns from a whisper to a label. Once that sticks, even brothels turn the key against you. Pregnancy never stops either. Condoms exist, but most men refuse them. Abortions happen in back rooms, with sharp tools and boiling water. Some women survive. Many bleed for days and never stand straight again. You count the children you carried, the ones you buried, and the ones you never met. The number follows you through every doorway. Debt is its own sickness. House fines, broken glass, borrowed dresses, doctor fees. The ledger always leans against you. If you cannot keep up, the madam pushes you out. Back to the street, where old age in this line means colder nights, rougher clients, and fewer coins. Your circle shrinks. Women you laughed with at 20 are gone by 40. Tuberculosis, infection, violence, overdose. No grand funerals, just quick burials and unmarked ground. Marriage, workhouse, final stop. Escape is a word people use when they have options. You do not. You have exits, and none are clean. Some women marry. Not gentlemen, not poets, mostly laborers, soldiers, or widowers, who want a housekeeper and do not ask many questions. A client might decide he wants a steady arrangement. He offers a ring, a room, and the promise that the past will stay in the past. You say yes, because the alternative is the street in winter. Marriage can mean fewer men, regular meals, and a chance to breathe. It can also mean unpaid work, more pregnancies, and a husband who drinks away wages. Divorce is nearly impossible. You stay because leaving costs more than staying. Others try respectable work. Laundry, sewing, cleaning, pay is low, hours are long, employers check references. Many refuse you once they recognize your face or hear a rumor. Servant registries keep quiet blacklists. You walk away with raw hands and a few pennies. Respectability tastes thin when you cannot buy bread. When your body breaks down, the workhouse waits. Every city has one. The Poor Law of 1834 built them to cut public costs. The idea is simple. Conditions must be harsh, so only the desperate enter. You line up at the gate with other worn-out workers. Men, women, children, all split into separate wards. Families are torn apart the moment they step inside. The rules are strict. Uniforms, silence at meals, hard labor if you can still move, picking oakum, scrubbing floors, breaking stones. Food is cheap gruel, dry bread, and watery tea. Illness spreads fast. Tuberculosis, typhus, and infection strike the weakest first. Doctors do what they can, but supplies are thin and time is short. Once inside, leaving is not easy. You need proof you can support yourself. Few can. Many stay until they die. Burial comes from the parish. A simple box. No headstone. No name. Pauper graves stack bodies to save space. Your story does not end with applause or redemption. It ends in a rented room with a coughing husband, a laundry tub that never empties, or a workhouse bed that smells of bleach. The city that bought your body for decades does not send flowers. It barely notices you are gone.